So I want to tell you guys about my 3 absolute favorite Texas rig hooks. Now there's lots of hooks out there. You know, Trokar and Eagle Claw, they make a ton of hooks, but I want to tell you about my 3 favorite ones for Texas rigging. And it all depends on, when I use a different hook, it depends on the style of bait I'm using. And it also depends on how heavy a cover I'm in, if I'm using braided line or if I'm using monofilament or a fluorocarbon line. You know, there's a lot of different variables, but I got 3 of them that are pretty much the ones that I fall back to all the time. The first one is going to be the Trokar TK100. This hook is basically my all-around do-everything girl. I mean, she just works in worms, creature baits, fluke style baits, anything you put on a Carolina rig. I mean, it does just about everything and does it well. It's one of those hooks that, you know, it's an R-bend hook, but has a very big gap in it. For most R-bends, your point is actually in line with the R-bend, and that gives you a very small gap for the fish to be able to, you know, get a hook in them when they don't necessarily have the perfect angle, or you have too much of your bait balled up in the gap of the hook. This hook will overcome a lot of that stuff and really will hook the fish really, really well. Like I said, it's just an all-around do-everything kind of hook. I always keep a 50 pack of these in my boat. 5/0 is my favorite, but I carry 4/0s, I carry 3/0s. But like I said, I use the 5/0 most of the time. I'm gonna move along now, move to the EWG hook, and this is a TK110. This is a hook that a lot of times I will use if I'm going to work a soft jerk bait, like a fluke style bait, very erratically and in some heavier cover. I'm going to use an EWG, like I said, the TK110, awesome hook. And another time I really use this hook is when I'm using tube baits, but not when I'm putting a jig head up in a tube bait, when I'm Texas rigging it, when I'm, you know, fishing in heavy cover, whether it's grass or I'm pitching it into bushes and laydowns and things like that, and I want that tube style bait. An EWG hook is absolutely the way to go. Like I said, the Trokar TK110, definitely my go-to for tubes and heavy cover stuff when I'm using a fluke style bait. This hook will also work for a lot of different stuff though. I know a lot of guys that throw soft topwater swim baits, you know, like a big spanky or something like that, where they reel across the top. They use an EWG style hook for that. Works really well. It holds your bait on very well when you're coming through really heavy cover situations. Then my third one is going to be my big hook. My you know, when I'm going in heavy, I'm going in deep, real heavy cover when I'm punching, you know, flipping really heavy bushes, really thick, you know, lay down trees, and any kind of punching that I'm doing, you know, down into hydrilla, down into hyacinths, pennywort, anything like that. I'm using a creature bait and I'm using braided line. It's going to be the TK133. To me, this is the absolute #1 flipping hook. I've had the argument with people about this before. You know, some people say the TK130 is the best. The TK130 is an amazing punching hook, you know, heavy cover hook. But to me, the TK133, I love this thing. It has a big gap. It has a absolute great keeper on it. It has a kind of an unconventional bend to it, but I really like that bend because when I'm punching really heavy cover, I want the most compact bait I can have to slip down in that matted grass or slip down into that, you know, that really bushy bush or lay down tree. You know, I want something that's nice, compact, and slips down in there really good. So many times your bite on those kind of situations is the first time your bait falls down through there. It's just boom, he just grabs it. Well, I think this hook really helps that a lot. And plus, what I've had with it, the luck I've had, the fish stay pinned when you come back on them. So the TK133 would be my third one, and it's my #1 choice for really heavy cover. So those are my 3 favorite hooks. I hope this helps you a little bit. I know it's the ones that I use day in and day out on the water.